Is Die Glocke lost in time? Well, let's find out.
So what should I call you other than pathetic? Hey, do you want a witty nickname? How does Vanilla Chin Spaceman or Air Frosty Goatee sound to you?
Oh, you think you're funny, Sinister Man? You can call me by my code name, Robak.
Code name?
Yeah, it's so boring on the moon that we come up with code names for everything. For example, if you have to go pee because at Nummer 1.
Wow, so original. Wait, did you think of that all on your own, or did you have to consult with Navajo code talkers to devise such an unbreakable cipher?
Oh, he's back. Fantastic.
Yeah, he always ruined my day too. It's his overall presence with his lack of underlying perpetual rage that irks me the most.
What are you guys doing?
Do you mind? It's the first official meeting of the I Hate Kevin Cater Club.
Ja, und unlike David Hasselhoff, we hate you for scam.
Wow. Such hostilities. You know, if I had the Die Glocke, perhaps then I would have the time to fix what you don't like about me.
It's unfixable.
Who are you calling Glockenkopf? I don't need this. I have to go Nummer 1. You can tell me later what it means, evil Fred.
Speaking of number 1, you really do know how to piss people off, don't you there, Mother Teresa?
Well, I wasn't being rude, dude. I was talking about the Die Glocke, the bell. It was supposed to be this giant wonder weapon during World War II from the Germans.
Oh, that bell.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just say so?
I did. But you know, sometimes it feels like no one listens to me. Like, why am I even here if I'm... Even Fred.
What? Wait, what? Were you saying something?
Yes.
Oh, please continue. Please.
Okay, thank you. But to be honest with you, I am kind of shocked to even know what the bell is. In my reality, it's very secretive. Very little proof of it even exists. And to be honest with you, it's just mostly hearsay.
Holy hearsay. I thrive on hearsay, so this is great. But the Die Glocke wasn't a time machine like you're alluding to. It was an anti-gravity device, and it was reverse engineered from an extraterrestrial source.
I mean, that's one theory, and trust me, there are many theories on it, considering there's no hard evidence surrounding it at all. The evidence we do have comes from only one person, a Polish author and journalist, Igor Witkowski, who claimed to have discovered the evidence of the device through transcripts of interrogation of a former SS Nazi.
Yeah, the only account of the Die Glocke is from the book The Truth About the Wunderwaffe, written in 2000. Didn't Witkowski describe Die Glocke as being a device made out of a hard, heavy ceramic, approximately 9 feet in diameter and 12 to 15 feet tall, having a bell-like shape? It was supposedly used in experiments aiming at anti-gravity or even radical propulsion technologies.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the book says, but I do find it strange that there is no concrete evidence or other testimonials by other eyewitnesses. There hasn't even been evidence of the evidence, such as a paper cut when Igor was handling the transcripts, for instance.
Well, Igor was actually only allowed to look at the transcripts. He could transcribe them, but not copy them. And that makes sense if you think about it. The transcripts are highly top secret, and if he copied the originals, they could have traced the source back to the leak. This is why there's deniability for Igor, and he remains safe from prosecution.
You know, that's good points, Evil Fred. But what's your take on the lack of evidence from other sources? I mean, isn't that a little strange?
Well, actually, this might be an easy one. It was the start of the Cold War, so everything was kept a secret. And it's still a secret today, and nobody knows what it could mean if it got out.
Yeah, okay. But you know, the more people who know a secret, the less likely it is to remain a secret.
I see what you're saying. In my reality, we say 3 can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead.
That's a dark view of it. But for example, after World War II, treasure troves of Nazi tech were uncovered, such as other wonder weapons of the Third Reich, like the V-2, the world's first ballistic rocket, the V-3 supergun, and even jet engines and electric submarines. All these were uncovered after World War II. However, these secrets, and more importantly, the evidence of these secrets, such as photos and blueprints, were all known publicly, despite the secrecy.
But there is evidence of the Die Glocke. Perhaps the most intriguing evidence comes from Der Ries in the Owl Mountains, where it is said Die Glocke was tested. There are records of high-ranking Nazis and scientists visiting the site frequently throughout the war. Combine that with local legends and some physical remnants, such as the henge, which resembles a large test rig, where it's believed that Die Glocke was installed and tested on the site. Either way, it suggests that something out of the ordinary was happening here.
Yeah, the henge is interesting, considering no one seems to know what it was used for. Some suggest it was even part of a cooling tower, but these are suggestions, much like the Die Glocke itself. There is no hard evidence.
All right, Kevin, before you go on, I think it's been fun looking at theories behind Die Glocke with you, but what's this all about? Is this part of a new thread or something?
Yeah, okay, sorry about that. So yes, this is a new thread I was working on, and that moon guy kind of reminded me of it, so I thought I'll share it with you. So, the thread I've been following might explain why there is no evidence of Die Glocke, and in turn might prove why it does exist.
Wait, the evidence is that there's no evidence? Didn't you once say that no evidence is not evidence, despite what a congressional committee says?
Yeah, I did say that, but that was before I was visited by the DOJ.
Yikes.
So, moving on, I stumbled on a thread that might explain why there is no evidence of the Die Glocke, and in turn might prove it did exist.
Okay. You said that already. You're getting as repetitive as the Kanye West joke I keep cutting away to. So why don't you stop wasting our time and tell us what the hell you're thinking? How is no evidence evidence?
Okay, so I will start at the beginning. As you know, Albert Einstein changed our understanding of the universe with his theory of general relativity. He proposed that what we perceive as a force of gravity is the curvature of space-time around mass. Imagine the universe as two-dimensional fabric, like a sheet pulled tight. When a heavy object is placed in the fabric, it creates a depression, and the object nearby rolls towards it. This is how gravity works, but in 3 dimensions.
General relativity also tells us something profound about time. Time doesn't flow at a constant rate everywhere. It's actually affected by gravity. The stronger the gravitational field, the slower time moves. This isn't just theoretical, it's actually observable. GPS satellites, for example, have to correct for this effect, as time moves faster for them in orbit under less gravity than it does for us here on the Earth's surface.
Precisely. Now let's leap from established science to the edges of speculative history. During the final years of World War II, rumors emerged of secret Nazi project.
Die Glocke.
Yes, and many accounts suggest it was a device capable of defying gravity. If Die Glocke was able to defy gravity, it would also defy time, or at least alter it, according to Albert Einstein.
So by making an anti-gravity device, you're creating a time machine. Sinister.
Yeah, but not in the way you're thinking, Fred.
So that's a no to going back and getting those lotto numbers, or at the very least, hiding those bodies better?
Hiding the bodies better. Well, if Die Glocke was manipulating gravity, it would involve casting extreme strong gravitational fields, altering the flow of time within its vicinity, forming a time bubble, if you will.
A time bubble? The implications of a time bubble are staggering. Like inside the bubble, time could theoretically pass at a different rate than outside. So if Die Glocke was eliminating all gravity, then time inside the bubble would move faster and you could witness the external world in slow motion. What I wouldn't give to have that ability. Just think how much I could get done while you're babbling on.
Excuse me? Well, okay. If a bubble was created, then crossing in and out of the bubble could pose a challenge. The boundaries of the bubble would represent zones of extreme temporal gradient. Crossing this gradient could result in unexpected physical or biological effects, potentially killing the traveler.
So you're suggesting they would initially be stuck in the bubble, or at least they would be stuck in the bubble as long as there was a bubble.
And that, there, evil Fred, is the exact reason why there is no evidence of the Die Glocke. Think about it. Once the device was activated, the time bubble created from this anti-gravity device would encompass a laboratory, potentially the scientists and all the documentation.
But if that was true, wouldn't they just turn the device off, re-merge with our timeline, and in turn bring back the evidence?
Maybe, maybe not. Ever heard of the block universe? Or the theory also known as internalism?
Eternals? Oh man, that movie sucked. I made it maybe 10 minutes through into that disaster.
Me too.
But in regards to the block universe theory, yeah, I'm well versed. It's a philosophical and scientific proposition about the nature of time and the structure of the universe. It emerges again from the implications of Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity and provides a unique perspective on the flow of time and the existence of the past, present, and future. For example, in a block universe, time is treated as another dimension, similar to the three spatial dimensions, resulting in a four-dimensional reality. If time is the fourth dimension, then every event has its own coordinates, not just in space, but also in time. In all honesty, I really don't understand it that much.
Yeah, it sounds like you kind of do. But anyways, it is complicated, even by people who understand it, like Max Tegmark.
We can view the universe in a three-dimensional space where stuff happens, or in four dimensions where nothing happens.
Well, how about the fifth dimension? You know, the one where I just killed you all.
Okay, well, we're not talking about different realities, Wilfred. We're talking about different planes of understanding. Okay, so this perspective implies that all moments in time exist simultaneously in the fourth dimension, but our perception experiences them progressively in the third dimension. So in the fourth dimension, the past, present, and future are equally real and set. The flow of time we perceive is more about our movement through this reality from the perspective of the third dimension. Everything that has happened or will happen has already occurred, but the viewer, as in us, just doesn't know it yet.
Man, you're confusing me now. Much like Kanye West tries to confuse the paparazzi with his disguises.
Evil Fred, we've already done that joke.
Ah, crap, you're right. You see how confused I'm getting with this thread?
Okay, let's try this. Envision your life as a film permanently etched onto a Blu-ray disc.
How about if we go with a laser disc? It's more relatable for me, and since you're trying to get me to understand it, I appreciate it.
Fine. Envision your life permanently etched on a laser disc, encompassing every moment from the beginning to the end. As a viewer, your interaction is limited to pressing only play, with no other abilities like fast forward, rewind, or even skipping scenes. You are committed to viewing the narrative unfold frame by frame until it reaches its conclusion. Yet, if you were to transcend to the fourth dimension, the perspective shifts dramatically. You would perceive the entire laser disc in a single glance. Each scene and every moment coexist, laid out simultaneously. The notion that the story progresses or changes as you view it is merely an illusion. There is no actual modification occurring. The narrative's entire scope is predetermined, fixed in the disc coordinates. Although it may seem as if the plot is developing, each and every moment is passing from the viewer's standpoint. In truth, the film and thus the storyline remains constant, unchanged in its complete form.
So, time is essentially a collection of snapshots at specific coordinates.
Yes.
Okay, but then why does time seem to move only forward?
Well, the answer lies in the Big Bang. The rapid expansion of the universe has stretched the fabric of space-time itself, ingraining the direction of time into the very structure of the universe. As we navigate through space-time, we're not merely traversing space, we're also progressing through time, witnessing the increase of the universe's entropy. Thus, we experience the passage of time. Or at least that's what I learned on Blue's Clues.
Okay, so revisiting the Die Glocke concept, it's conceivable that the reason they couldn't simply reintegrate with our timeline after deactivating the device is due to a shift in their position within the fourth dimension's coordinates caused by their time bubble. So you're saying it could have left them at a different point in the space-time continuum. So this dislocation in the coordinates of the fourth dimension would mean they no longer align with the original timeline, making reintegration with our current time frame challenging or maybe even impossible.
Everything is now out of phase. Not just the Die Glocke, but the laboratory, the evidence, and even the people. And that's why there's no evidence of the Die Glocke.
Well, that would explain why evidence of the Die Glocke is like your personality.
In what way?
Empty and without much substance.
Funny. But on a serious note, I am curious if the scientists survived. I mean, did they ever find a way back to our space-time continuum?
You know what? Perhaps they already have.
Really?
Absolutely. On a chilly December night in 1965, a blazing fireball streaked across the sky, and it was seen over southwestern Canada and 8 U.S. states before plummeting to the ground in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, where eyewitnesses said it made dramatic turns before its impact, almost like it was being navigated. Eyewitnesses described it as an acorn-shaped or bell-shaped object that looked like it was made of a solid gold-like metal with no seams or welds. It was also reported to have strange writing around the bottom.
You know, that really does sound like the Die Glocke. I wonder what happened to it.
Well, not surprisingly, military personnel quickly sealed off the area, whisking away the mysterious object on a flatbed truck. Official explanations attributed the incident to the re-entry of a Soviet satellite, the Cosmos 96.
Hold on. NASA claimed it was a Soviet satellite? No, I'm a little skeptical of this narrative. I would imagine a satellite would burn up upon re-entry and be completely destroyed by impact, rendering it completely indistinguishable from its original form. I don't think it would resemble a bell or anything for that matter. That's not possible, Fred.
Well, I mean, as you know, the USSR was known for its engineering prowess. No, it wasn't. They were terrible. I'm sorry, I can't even say that with a straight face. It's terrible. But I do think the reality here is probably far more elusive. I mean, you know what NASA stands for, right?
Yeah, never a straight answer.
Could there be a link between the Kecksburg UFO and Die Glocke?
I mean, it's possible. Kingsburg UFO crash was 20 years after the end of World War II.
Yeah, and if they were out of sync with time and jumped to a different point in the fourth dimension, perhaps the third dimension coordinates were no longer in Earth, but in space.
What do you mean?
Well, considering that we are moving at roughly 581,040 miles per hour at any given moment. I can see by your face that you have to go, as the Germans would say, number 2. Or maybe you're confused, so let me explain.
Please.
Rotational speed at the equator is roughly 1,040 miles per hour. The orbital speed around the sun is about 67,000 miles per hour. And the motion within the Milky Way galaxy is estimated to be 514,000 miles per hour.
Wow, that is pretty fast.
Yeah, it's not as fast as your first date went, but it's pretty fast. I heard about that one. So anyway, if the scientists working on Die Glocke went out of phase with our time using their anti-gravity device, the Earth and everything around it would have kept moving on the path of coordinates dedicated by the block universe. And if they were able to remerge into our time frame, perhaps the X and Y coordinates of their third dimension would no longer be in sync with ours, and they would find themselves in the middle of space upon their reappearance.
Yeah, and forcing them to navigate back to Earth, where they would crash into Pennsylvania 21 years or so later after their disappearance.
Yeah, maybe, but perhaps it was in the blink of an eye. One minute they were in Poland executing their experiments, then suddenly they were in space, far away from Earth.
That would ruin anyone's day.
Sinister. You know, it's too bad though Roebuck got off after you insulted him.
Okay, for the record, I did not insult the guy.
Okay, perhaps not with your words,
Thank you.
but definitely with your face. Anyways, we could have confirmed some of this with him, considering he's a Nazi on the moon.
Yeah, true.
I guess it'll just have to wait until our next meeting of the I Hate Kevin Cater Club. You know what, on that note, we're actually planning on having a special guest speaker next time.
Wait, really who?
Nicolas Cage.
Get out, Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage, indeed.
I love that guy. I mean, why would he hate me?
Well, I guess you ran into him at Disneyland once. I'm not sure if you looked at his face or you looked at him and you did the face off thing. Either way, apparently that's all it took.
All I did was this. Okay, whatever. I mean, tell him I said hello.
You know what? He's definitely going to hate that, so I most certainly will do that for you. I love making people feel terrible. Anyways, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that little bell. We'd also like to thank our supporters, Super Dave, Space Pig, and Roebuck. Without your generous support, this show would not be possible.
And if you have a suggestion or a red thread you'd like us to follow, please let us know. I'm Kevin Cater.
And I'm Evil Fred, reminding you to follow the red thread and see where it takes you.
Perhaps an I Love Kevin Cater Club.
No. Isn't that right, Roebuck?
Blah, 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 blah.
Children, quiet please. I'm working here.
Ja, ja, Papa.
God damn it. Children.